And welcome everyone once again to another edition of the Torn Quadcast. This is a show where we talk about sports entertainment, sports, and entertainment. We are your hosts, Elliott Serrano, and my the equilibrium to my chaos, the wind beneath my wings, Mark Allen Fishman. How you doing, Mark?
It's not the first superlative that came to mind, but I'll take it.
It's been a week. A lot of stuff's been going on in the worlds of sports entertainment and the like, but also this past weekend, a big blockbuster movie was released, although we won't know if it's really a blockbuster, how well it does until Sunday. We're talking
Monday
about
morning, probably.
Yeah, Sunday morning. We're talking about Superman, the new movie from James Gunn that heralds the beginning of the new DCEU, which I've never understood. Does it mean the DC extended universe, expanded universe,
Entertainment
universe?
I think in parlance to the movie stuff, I guess.
Okay.
But I know that James Gunn, I believe, just refers to it as the DCU.
Okay, which would make sense. Mind you, that
it came from the MCU.
Right, MCU, DCU. But yeah, had one of the biggest openings in previews, like over 22 million in preview nights, and that's when I caught it. I caught it on Thursday.
I've been noticing my feed, for what it's worth, is pretty choked full of people saying positive things. I also know you go into the semantics of fandom, and I can say that, especially as the day we're recording this, former Superman Dean Cain is raising up a stink and not quite understanding that what he's saying is only getting more eyes on the product.
Well, I touched on that briefly when I when I gave my review of the Superman movie on the WRMN morning show, which I am a co-host of. And then I went to WCPT, that's a progressive talk station in Chicago, on Friday, which is actually today, but people will be seeing this on Saturday.
Yes.
And gave my pretty hot take on Dean Cain. You know, I'll talk a little bit about it, but I didn't want to talk politics on WRMN. I certainly don't want to talk politics here on the Torn Quadcast. But to your point, I did want to talk a little bit about Dean Cain, but also how fandom is a very vocal minority in fandom, how they've reacted. So we will get into that. I'll say from the get-go, though, I really enjoyed it. It is very different from the Marvel universe. I'll get into why when we talk about that later on in the show. And by all means, this is, to me, probably one of the best portrayals of Superman since Christopher Reeve in the '78 movie. And that's not to discount what others have done. I thought Tyler Hoechlin was really good on the
Clark
Superman,
and Lois,
the Superman, and I love Tom Welling. I thought Brandon Routh was incredible. Mind you, he was channeling Christopher Reeve. You know, it was kind of what he was doing.
It was a weird pastiche. It worked, but
yes, and heck, I am a fan of Henry Cavill.
No bad apples there.
No, it's like there's no bad Bonds. You know, there have been no really bad James Bonds. It's always been probably not great scripts, though. I think that's what hampered Henry Cavill.
Now I've got to ask, what's your good to bad ratio on Batman?
I'm kind of the same on that too. I don't think there've really been any really bad Batmans.
Clooney.
I mean, well, Clooney.
Here's the thing. Clooney can act. We know this, but the script gave him nothing
Gave him
and
the
he
yeah.
didn't try.
No, and here's the thing. I know Clooney did it. Even he will admit he did it because it was the thing to do. It's like you don't just pass on it. And this
Sure.
was very early in his career. I mean, he had just transitioned out of doing ER
Yeah.
into doing movies. And I think the only other movie he had done before Batman was Peacemaker. So not the Peacemaker that we know John Cena for now was a completely different type of deal. Although I did confuse it. I kept thinking, wait, is this an adaptation of the DC comic, but they're doing it completely, like a different take?
That would have
No,
been awesome. I would also pay good money now to see George Clooney as
as
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. But yes. So this was very early on in his career, and all I know is as I'm watching this, Batman and Robin. All I saw was Dr. Ross. He had all the mannerisms from ER. Mind you, George Clooney will go on to become a much better actor with much greater range down the line.
Yes.
Maybe if he played Batman a little later down the line, it could have been different. But
Possibly.
even Clooney himself, well, he jokes about it. He says, "I ruined Batman," and da da
Oh,
da.
everybody on that movie, I think, walked away just sort of mildly shaking their head and
Yeah,
saying, "Yeah, it was what it was." I remember, like, for me personally, Batman Forever, because of my age when it dropped, I absolutely loved it, in
hmm
spite of, you know, growing up at the same time as Batman the Animated Series, which I will again defend with my life as the best depiction of Batman, hands down, and the best written and the best presented, so on and so forth. I still saw that schlock movie and absolutely loved almost everything about it. And then Batman and Robin came out, and like within a minute, I was like, oh, I have regrets.
I still enjoy Batman Forever. I mean, for what it
Yes,
is. I mean, it was Joel Schumacher pushing the Batman movies more towards the camp of the Adam West. And I really
yeah.
liked Val Kilmer. I thought Val Kilmer was
You
okay.
know, again, with what he was given, there was a
Yeah,
little bit there. And I would say from that movie specifically, my two favorite things about it, there every line is just made for the trailer, the whole movie. Like there is no
yeah,
exchange of dialogue that
yeah.
couldn't just be cut into a trailer. And the character name, the worst character name, Dr. Chase Meridian.
But wasn't that from the comic though? Wasn't Dr.
I
Chief writing for
Whoever came up with that name, it
yeah.
sounds like two banks got married.
It was a bank and a financial a finance tracking app
Fiduciary. This
and one
comes
of those
together.
apps. Yeah, they put it
Yeah.
together.
And you know
Uh,
what? Even for what it was worth, obviously growing up in that era, the Jim Carrey of it all, I
mhm.
enjoyed so much of that, and I'm actually glad he took it, and it caused the major rift. If you go back into the lore, it caused a huge rift between Warner Brothers and Robin Williams, who had been
Yes.
offered the part as a stick and carrot, and I'm so glad he did not get to that movie because I like to think of most of Robin Williams' filmography to be pretty good, and I'm not sure what he would have done with that,
I,
any of it.
You know what? I don't whatever Robin Williams would have done with it. I'm more confident than what would Tommy Lee Jones have done with Robin Williams because he couldn't stand Jim Carrey on that film.
Yes,
I I
as been reported.
yeah, I can't imagine what he would have thought of Robin Williams because mind you, this is pre Goodwill Hunting Robin Williams.
Oh yeah,
This is
he's still pretty he would have been pretty manic, but
manic.
I and he hadn't done any of his like quote villain turn era. If you remember Insomnia and 1 Hour Photo,
Oh yeah, Insomnia 1 Hour Photo. Yes, yes.
both
That's
of which he just again proved what an amazing asset he was. And even later in his own career, Jim Carrey has proven that he could do chilling villains too. But that is not what Schumacher was going for.
no.
Um, I do laugh in the Batman and Robin, the origin of Mister Freeze being just shown on like the Bat computer for like half a second, and all I can think is the setup that they must have done the amount of footage they had to have shot. And if I were Arnold Schwarzenegger and I go to the movie premiere and I go, you cut down 14 days of shooting into that.
Well, for all we know, it was just a stunt double, and the reason they did that is because Arnold wasn't there, and they're like, yeah, whatever.
Oh no, watch the behind the scenes documentary.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll
There
have to
was
see
there was a lot to it
that. Okay,
beforehand. And, I mean,
okay,
again, it's like cutting room floor stuff, and
I get it.
Joel had to get in that tight 88 minutes.
That's how the movie, why the movie did well, though,
Yeah,
because it was
before the Batman movies took 3 hours. Yes.
exactly. And by the way, I disagree with you on best Batman. Um, Lego Batman is the best Batman.
We'll fight behind the dumpster.
All right.
Both good.
Well, the Torn Quadcast. Today on the Torn Quadcast, we are going to talk a little bit about Superman. We'll leave that for later in the show. But we've been a little bit light on the wrestling talk as of late. So let's dive into that. Some really interesting things have been happening. And I know that, Mark, you've been keeping track of the AEW stuff. I've been checking in on AEW here and there, really been following the
Tony
Mercedes,
Storm.
the Tony Storm, Mercedes Moné bit, as well as, well, mostly what's been going on over in WWE, the Seth Rollins stuff, and anyway, so let's just go into things. First, we'll lead off with, which is not an unexpected thing when you sent me this note. The Raw ratings on Netflix, not great.
No, they hit a 6-month all-time low. This is reported on the Night of Champions Fallout show. That is doubly disappointing because the Fallout shows after PLEs typically have a bump up because the pay-per-view or the premium live event usually either completes a story or triggers the next section of a story to be told, and you tune in the night after to see where the whole product is moving. And having the viewership drop means either people were so not impressed by Night of Champions that they just didn't feel compelled to tune in, or it's continuing this like slow decline since they've moved to Netflix. The numbers have not been great.
I'm thinking with the metrics now. I'm not sure for how long they track them. Of course, you're going to have night of viewing of it live. Um, Netflix is always keeping in mind whatever viewing is done after the fact, because you have all the episodes on Netflix. You might people who like myself. I now that I'm doing the morning show, I can't stay up and watch the whole episode of Raw. I might watch like the first half hour or so, and then but I'll go back to it later in the week. Although
From
there's,
what I
but to put to maybe to your point and what's going on here is, when I watch a show, so far nothing has happened to make me want to stay. It's not like I go, oh, I can't go to bed now. I gotta watch what's going on here. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it later. Yeah.
they're still kind of doing what they did, and I'll say what I believe from the sources that I was reading on this particular story. They're all saying this is specifically the data on live viewing
Mm-hmm.
because Netflix made this purchase and this deal happened not because of the day after viewing or the I'll get to it eventually or I'm here on the platform because it is Netflix wants live viewing, and the numbers declining aren't great. They're not going to report on that. These are your dirt sheet people that are going into numbers and finding tables and tablets and stuff to report this stuff. But I think, yeah, to your point, I don't think, and I mean, we've both kind of gone into the product. I don't think that the product itself has changed enough that it makes me feel like I'm watching anything different than the last 20 years. It
Yeah.
always
No.
starts with
Exactly.
a big talky segment for 20, 25 minutes, and then you get your mid-card smosh from, 20 minutes into about 2 hours and 20 minutes, and then you get your main event chunk where you hope to keep the audience excited, and then there's some big something or other to end the show. Cue the big title card, roll credit.
I don't understand why they still have so many freaking commercials.
Well, I mean, they could just put all the advertisements on the turnbuckles, a la WrestleMania.
Yeah. If anyone asks Triple H about the Netflix ratings and like at any of the post match, post event press conferences, he'll just give you the whole it's not my job to follow those things, thus confirming everything that the dirt sheets say.
You could ask Triple H. You could simply say, "Hey, I talked to Stephanie, Triple H, and she said this morning you had your overnight oats," and he would still just lean in, kind of cock an eyebrow, and go, "Yeah, that's what I want you to think." And they're like, "No, this is not a bit, Paul. I'm just saying. I just want to confirm. You got overnight oats? Maybe."
And then you went, wait, is Stephanie McMahon a reliable source here, or is she in on it?
It very well could be. Very well could be.
Yeah. But anyway, I know, and even Triple H himself said that was probably going to happen. The tremendous bump that they had in the beginning, but again, Raw is not a PLE; it's a week-to-week thing. Mind you, because I don't have USA Network, I have yet to see what happens on SmackDown. I think I get like part of the story. I just get caught up with the rundown at each PLE. I think it's back to the point that if it didn't have so much content going out so much on the regular, then maybe it'd be special. For case in point, football on television ratings actually dropped this past season. The NFL was the juggernaut. Mind you, the ratings are still pretty high. The NFL football still pulls in, the majority of ratings in television. But compared to what it was before, they did see like Thursday night football games. The ratings were dropping because after a while, it's like, okay, yeah, we've seen this, and you know what? It's actually not that great. I don't have to watch it.
I mean, as I said, without diving too headlong into the tangent, football like WWE, you just keep pushing an inch at a time until you get to this oversaturation point. If you are a fan of the NFL blanket, you have Monday Night Football, you have Thursday Night Football, you have Saturday morning college ball, which is usually tied to the NFL folk in some way, and then of course you have your big Sunday. Like, you can fill, when it's football season, 7 days a week of constant churning content. It is too much for anybody to take in. And if you're a fan of the WWE, like a fan's fan, 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, an hour of NXT, any of the other stuff, that's tons of content.
Yeah, no, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, this sort of ties into, we have two other WWE centric stories, and I think they all kind of link, right? Because if you're a follower at all of Bully Ray, formerly Bubba Ray Dudley, this past week he got into a little hot water on his podcast, which you could put air quotes around this whole thing, by saying that WWE has become fast food. And he was citing like Tiffany Stratton specifically because she doesn't evoke emotions in him anyway. I'd like to point out on the story in our show notes, I said this coming from Bubba Ray Dudley is the most ironic BS I've heard all day. Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, whatever his name is, has never, in his entire career, and I've watched plenty of it, connected with me on an emotional level. Ever.
I mean, to me, my favorite of the Dudley boys was Spike Dudley.
Of course.
Yeah. So,
but he connects with you on an emotional level because that poor guy got hit a lot.
Yeah. And the one thing that Bully or Bubba Ray and Devon was that they didn't really get over until they started doing that.
Which was, by the way, dated even when they did it.
Yeah. Oh, and putting Mae Young through a table. That's when the Dudley Boys got over.
Yeah,
When
and
they
do you
put
remember Bubba Ray's trance? Like when
yeah
he would put a woman through a table and it was like some weird
yeah
fetishized
yeah
excitement. Like, but to his point, and even a little bit to his credit, yes, the WWE is fast food. We said
yeah
this at our WrestleMania show,
yeah.
and
And
it's
he's
not a bad thing.
well
It's consistent,
the dude is essentially a manager at McDonald's. He's on that freaking LFG thing that they do, so
right? Yeah,
whatever.
it's the pot's calling the kettle black, or maybe that's why he wants to get off the show. Who knows? But yeah, it's the fact is the WWE is fast food, right?
It
It is
is.
consistent, it is affordable, and it is the most recognized. And there's nothing wrong with those three things. You're not going to have haute cuisine watching WWE ever. But every now and again, McDonald's releases a snack wrap and the WWE churns out a 5-star match. It's going to happen.
Haute Cuisine is actually my new wrestling name.
Nice.
Yeah. To the point though that Bubba Ray, I don't care for anything Bully Ray says. Just like I'm caring less and less for what Mark Calloway Undertaker is saying,
Yeah.
His own take on the freaking Superman movie. Just, Mark, I hate to say this, stick to wrestling. Okay, just stick to wrestling. I don't care for any other opinions you have at this point.
Right. I think you and I are pretty well documented as not the biggest fan of the guy. Into the
no,
ring, out the ring,
yeah,
around the ring. The only time to me, truly, where I have ever been entertained by that guy without an ironic, snarky expression on my face would be when he talks with Stone Cold,
mm-hmm.
because those two in a room just palling around is enjoyable. Two, like what I would say, air quote, redneck Texans just, shooting. It's fun, but yeah, self-aggrandizing, weirdly political where it doesn't need to be. Yeah, just not fun. Not fun.
Although Stone Cold is woke. He's woke AF, man. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Have you heard him?
he's always been.
He's when he talks about the certain issues. He talks about about gay rights. He talks about everything. The redneck hillbilly. Well, no, was it? What did Jr. call him?
Oh, he was the something redneck. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but still, I'm a bigger fan of Stone Cold now than I was when he was wrestling.
100%.
Yeah. All right, folks, we're gonna take a short break to go to commercials on the stick. If you're watching us on the YouTube, it'll be a slightly shorter break. This is the Torn Quadcast here on WRMN Radio 1410 AM and the WRMN Radio YouTube page. We'll be back with more talk about WWE and AEW right after this. And we're back. This is the Torn Quadcast coming to you from our respective studios around the western suburbs of Chicago. Or no, you're south. You're south. Yeah, I'm west. You're south. Right. I'm Elliott Serrano, joined by Mark Allen Fishman of Unshaven Comics. And this is the Torn Quadcast, the show on WRMN where we talk about sports entertainment, sports, and entertainment. If you missed the first half hour of the show, we went
Shame on
into
you.
shame on you, but you can always catch anything that you've missed on the WRMN YouTube page. Just go over to youtube.com/@WRMN radio and go to the playlist. If you click on the playlist, you will find a Torn Quadcast under WRMN Sports Presents, as well as under its own playlist, the Torn Quadcast, where you will catch earlier episodes where Mark and I talk to John Bullard of the Fantastic League of Wrestling. A great guy talking about producing an independent wrestling league here in the Chicagoland area. And where he has several stars like Trash Panda, who I'm calling you out, Trash Panda. You've been dodging me. Don't think I can't tell that. I know you're looking at my posts. I know you're looking at them. Look out. I'll find you. I might just go to the next Fantastic League of Wrestling event and show up. Nothing's stopping me from buying a ticket and waiting at ringside with a whole shopping bag full of snacks that are super hot. It'd be like hot ones, but with chips and fries and candies that are just gonna make your mouth all.
See, at first when you said hot snacks, I was thinking like warm snacks.
Yeah, it's too much work.
Yeah, I just saw that it's going viral now that if you leave a Hershey bar, like a fun size one, out in the sun, and you can just squeeze the package like toothpaste onto like strawberries and stuff.
Oh, I had not seen that. Well, watch out, Trash Panda. You're going to have Snicker bar strawberries waiting on you. They're going to get all over your mask.
Yeah. By the way, for those folks who have been screaming at their listening device of choice, the term that we were missing was the bionic redneck.
Thank you, bionic redneck. That's what it was.
Yes.
Because he was Steve Austin, $6 Million Man, then became the bionic red. Yes.
He was, the bionic redneck, obviously stunning Steve Austin. Prior to that, he was also at one point superstar Steve Austin.
Well, he was the ringmaster in there somewhere. Yeah.
He was the ringmaster, and thank God he became Stone Cold and not the originally pitched to him. Oh my God, what was it, like Chill McCool or something just absolutely awful? And thank God at the time, if you've listened to his podcast, he tells his origin story once every 4 episodes. So.
It is pretty good. All right. So again, if you've missed it, we also spoke with Rob Schamberger, AEW portrait artist and comic book creator. And we hope to have more guests here on the Torn Quadcast in the future. I'm looking to talk to some roller derby folks. That would be a lot of fun. And of course, more independent wrestling stars. And maybe, who knows, maybe one day Tony Khan will come on.
I'm hopeful personally. I'm trying very hard. I'm going through the JUF, the BBYO, and all of my backstage contacts at my synagogue to try to get us Colt Cabana.
Colt? I've interviewed Colt in the past when I worked for Red Eye. I've spoken with Colt.
He seems like the nicest fella.
He is a really good guy. And Chris Daniels is another one. I've interviewed him. Good guy. All right, so we'll see.
Yes.
Anyway, so the topic of conversation. Oh, and again, we will be discussing the Superman movie later on in the show, but we do have a couple more things that we want to address here that are more wrestling related. In the first half hour, we talked about the Raw ratings. We talked about Bully Ray saying that WWE is fast food like McDonald's, to which we went, duh.
Yeah. Sick burn, bro.
Yeah, really. And then, okay, the Seth Rollins group, which is like, to me, I mean, they should be, they've every once in a while, I've heard Michael Cole and the folks like slyly call it, Paul Heyman's Dangerous Alliance. Like they.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't just give him a name.
Yeah, just do it. But you can tell they're being sly about it because that's what fans are calling them. But
But like, what advantage? What is the advantage of not giving them a name?
yeah,
I
I don't.
understand that like
Yeah,
heel groups are not supposed to quote have merch, but it's 2025. Everybody has merch.
I was gonna say, DX was a heel group. They had merch.
Almost immediately.
Yeah.
Yes.
Evolution was a heel group. They had merch.
I'm
So
on the site right now. Becky Lynch, I believe, is a heel, and
it
she's
has.
got her
Yeah.
merch right. It is literally the second button on trending styles for you. Says held down by the man,
Mm.
which
Well,
I
she
don't
can
know
hold
if
me
they.
down anytime.
Hi yeah. I mean, I'm just looking through here, like at all the various merchandise opportunities. Yeah, but the whole Seth Rollins of it all, right? So basically, if you watched Raw this past week in your first 20 minutes, the story they presented is Seth Rollins comes out like they do. He's got the microphone because he's like the first talker, if you will,
Right.
and Braun Breaker interrupts him, grabs the mic to his chagrin and surprise, and starts cutting a promo about how he joined this group because he is the going to be the face of wrestling for the next 20 years. And the whole time he's giving this promo, Seth and Paul Heyman in the background of the shot are like actively arguing about like what's going on.
Yeah.
And everybody, fan wise, kind of walked away from that segment going, what was that? What was the note here? Like, I'm not sure what I'm meant to glean from whatever this thing was.
Hmm. I
Like
mean, yeah, yeah. I mean,
it are yeah, I
yeah,
don't
no,
know.
but no, I get you. But to me, I remember I'm watching it, and in the beginning, you think Seth Rollins is going to get mad, and then it's like, yeah, all right, you guys said what you wanted to say, because then Bronson Reed would do the same thing,
Yes.
and I think it was kind of like a callback to when um, Roman Reigns would have his bits with the Bloodline, and he always wanted to be the one controlling the mic.
Yeah.
And if anybody else tried talking, something bad would happen because they were taking the spotlight. Maybe it was in this Seth Rollins going, "Hey, you know what? That I'm not like Roman Reigns." I don't know. Maybe that's it was. Maybe that's. I'm thinking I'm putting too much on that. Maybe they just went, "Hey, let's just throw things out there for a bit and see what people say." I
I
don't know.
guess. By the way, I'm on the site. I'm trying to find if there's like what the other merch was. So I went to Braun Breaker's merch.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that one of his catchphrases or the monikers or whatever, it says meaner than evil,
That
which says everything. That's good
I
good
was
for him.
I was watching the Table for Three bit that he did with his father, Rick Steiner, and his uncle Scott Steiner, and oh my God, to hear the Steiner brothers just busting his chops the whole time. Yeah, what's this Braun Breaker? What you couldn't you couldn't be Braun Steiner? You couldn't you had to go. You couldn't you didn't want to keep the name going. And Braun Breaker goes, no, I wanted to make a name for myself. He goes, yeah, but you're using all our moves.
Using our moves, wearing a singlet,
Yeah,
barking like a dog.
yeah,
Yeah, like I'm gonna take all the trappings. Now, that's funny they say that though, because if you actually know, Steiner is not their last name.
no, it's not. Yeah, but
It's
I just
Steinbreaker.
right. Well, yeah. So to the
So
point, and they don't, and it's funny too because they don't come out like if Michael Cole comes out and says, "Oh, he's the son of Rick Steiner." So
yeah, everybody know like it's nothing's hidden about it, but
mhm,
yeah, I don't know. Like, I'll just put it this way: as a fan, I was very excited at the prospect of Seth having this new fangled whatever because of the Paul Heyman of it all. We cashed in our chips at WrestleMania for yet another turn with Paul Heyman and Seth, who both, I mean, like, no one should ever trust these guys for anything. because every 2 years they stabbed somebody in the back. And then to combine it with two younger stars, I like the angle of it, but watching that segment, it didn't fill me with hope. It just sort of made me think, are we already cashing in the
Yeah,
turn,
yeah,
or what exactly is happening here? Because Braun can talk, um, Bronson can talk, and Seth can talk, and Paul can talk. Right now, you're putting a lot of similarly paced assets together, and it doesn't make sense to to compare and contrast to the Hurt Syndicate in AEW. Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley both have come up in their ability to talk, but MVP can talk circles around both of them. It makes great sense that they have a hype man, and they can just be the big domineering tag team, and they are a tag team now. And now they got Max, and even Max is demurring to MVP to be the mouthpiece. Here I'm looking at it going, it made sense in the storyline that Paul Heyman was the mouthpiece of the Bloodline forever until Roman Reigns really got the character cemented, and then he had his moments. Here I feel like Paul's not really adding, he's not contributing. I'm not seeing enough out of this, and if they're supposed to be the premier evil faction with the money in the bank briefcase so he can cash it in at any time he wants, I'm not seeing it, and I feel like right now they're peddling for no reason, and I'm hopeful that like this is just smoke and mirrors because SummerSlam's coming up.
yeah. I mean, again, it seems like they're trying to. They're trying to zag when everybody else expects them to zig, and like,
Yeah.
oh, you think you know what's going to happen next? Well, guess what? We're going to go in the opposite direction. That's what it feels like to me.
I would just love a cohesive story, but
Yeah.
we don't
And,
get we don't always get what we want.
and speaking of cutting promos and talking when you first go out there for the first 20 minutes, can we all stop like saying welcome to Monday night, whoever you are, fill in the blank, Monday night Rollins, Rhea Ripley, Monday night Mommy. I'm like, it's just when I remember when Jericho did it, that was the last time it was unique. Then everybody else started doing it.
Yeah, well, trailblazer that he is, man. Don't watch Fozzie's new video. Uh, Actually,
Okay.
no. Do watch it. Do watch it. But
Okay.
not for the reasons you think. And you know what? Here's a funny thing. It's actually starting to bleed into my precious AEW. The last couple of Dynamites have started with not exactly talky segments, but definitely like in-ring promo, I'm going to beat you up segments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's another one. I wish that some writer could finally pitch me a segment where two wrestlers get in the ring, there is a war of words, and there isn't some pull apart, I'm gonna bash you. Like, let it cook, let it simmer, because we've seen it before. This week on Dynamite, we actually started with Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm coming out, which they have repeated the same bit about 237 times. And while it's still entertaining because I love Tony Storm as
Mm-hmm.
everyone else does, I'm so glad they're gonna fight, and we can finally get past it. If you haven't had a chance, go to YouTube, watch the original clip of the promo where they don't uh, alter Tony Storm's catchphrases and things that she said. Very entertaining. Um, but yeah,
Yep.
I digress.
Well, they're finally going to fight. Is that like when David and Maddie finally kissed on Moonlighting, and then afterwards it was like, oh well, all right, I guess that was okay.
Oh, Jim and Pam are married now?
Yeah.
Okay, why am I still here?
I see. I went to Moonlighting, and you
I'm
got.
trying to bring it up just a couple of years. Recognize, if you want to feel bad about this, that an Office reference is 20 years old.
Oh my God, that's right. Moonlighting. Oh my
It's a
God.
40-year-old
Oh
reference.
wow, wow. All right.
Yeah.
In any case,
Gen Z stare anyone?
I know. Yeah, I mean, again, I've been following the AEW off and on. I'm waiting. I'm just looking forward to that. That's it. It's Tony Storm versus Mercedes Monet. If Mercedes Monet wins, then that's going to intrigue me. If Tony Storm wins, I'll be cool with it, but at the same time, I'll be like, well, that was a whole lot of buildup.
It's a lot of build up, and yeah, I don't think. Here's the thing. For what it's worth, Mercedes kind of has to win this one,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
for no other reason than Tony's beaten every other woman in the division. You would have to bring yet another star up to make it happen. So Mercedes also brings in what we would call a beatable champion, even
hmm
though she's got at this point nine, seven, eight, nine belts. So I hope that she forms them into some kind of infinity gauntlet. It'll be fun to watch.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that she didn't come out with one of those belts that like signifies the unification of everything, like they did with Roman Reigns. Remember? You
They
know,
could, but I guess like she has all these belts from separate companies and such. So I'm very curious how all that would work. But maybe she wins the big one and she gives the other ones back to the successive places she was at as like I don't need you anymore, which would be a cool way to create some like oh bring over your star to AEW and now we've got some extra
right?
flash. But I am curious. Let me ask you a leading question here. You're only watching the front match of AEW. We're following WWE. TNA. Can I interest you in watching some TNA?
Wait, are we talking about what TNA used to mean? Are we
Total
talking?
nonstop action.
But it's not. It stops quite frequently.
Yes. Well, speaking of TNA wants a new TV deal. Seriously, they are looking right now. They're
But
trying.
they're on what, TNT? Where are they?
They're right now. They're kind of floating. I don't even know. They're on some station, but not any of the. Not even one of the major cable networks. And I can tell you, based on the way that the press release came out on this, they are hyping themselves up as being like, "Hey, up and coming streaming service, use us as your anchor," which to me is a weird pitch.
Hey, TNA, we'll host you on the WRMN page. We'll do it. Mind you,
Yes,
we can't pay you anything, but
no,
we're glad to host you. You
yes.
know.
Also, if we do that, Nick Nemeth, you still won't be champion. Sorry.
Poor Nick. I would put
Poor.
I would put Nick and D'Lo Brown together, like give them a kind of like a Miami Vice gimmick. You
Nice.
know, I just so I can see D'Lo again doing the thing with his head.
Yeah, I would totally watch that. But
By the way,
yeah,
D'Lo Brown, great guy. I've met him. Great guy. He was, I think, when I met him last, he was an agent for TNA. He was doing a lot of the producing matches. But yeah, good guy. Good guy. I'm sorry. Go on.
no, I dig it. I was just gonna basically say I'm looking at our timer and I want to make sure that we get in some Superman thoughts before the stick goes away.
Well, I'm okay because we'll do bonus content. We'll give the bonus for the YouTube page. But for those who've been sticking around on the stick, a couple things I will say. Uh, the new Superman movie, yes, it is different from the Marvel universe. James Gunn has decided, unlike what DC was doing, the previous regime was doing with DC, they weren't trying to replicate what Marvel was doing using the DC heroes, making the character, making the characters more gritty and realistic and so on. Yeah, James Gunn has decided that, hey, you know what? This is a universe where a woman dresses like a hawk, a guy with a cape flies around, a dude with a ring can make things of light appear out of nowhere. And it's magic. It's a magical universe, and it's bigger than life. Very much like DC Comics are. If you watch, I remember as a kid thinking that the Superman was more of a he was really more like a Gandalf. He was more like a Merlin. He was those characters were all fantastic, mystical, mythical, pantheon, godlike creatures, whereas the Marvel characters were down to earth as as they say with Marvel, it's the universe outside your window or the world outside your window.
Right. And without
DC,
getting too deep into the lore, for those who understand it, DC started before Marvel
yep,
and comes from pulpier roots.
yep. I mean, the DC, the DC Comics itself was once Detective Comics, and then it started with Superman, and Superman, like at that time, the most popular superhero ever, top selling comic. We're talking, it was the thing up until the 1960s. And then Stan Lee would create the Fantastic Four and start a whole new era in comic book publishing. But needless to say, there are differences between the two universes. And James Gunn, I'm going to give him credit, decides to go in a different direction in starting this new DC cinematic universe. And with Superman, I think when we were leading up to this, there was a concern that how can, they were doing all the casting and you saw the behind the scenes photos. You go, wait, Metamorpho is in this, Hawkgirl is in this, uh, Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific. How are you going to pull that all off? Doesn't it seem like a whole lot? And lo and behold, I think James Gunn pulled it off just fine. Now, mind you, unlike the Marvel movies, you do kind of have to have a bit of a little bit of knowledge of the characters. If you're not familiar with Guy Gardner, if you're not familiar with Hawkgirl or Mr. Terrific, you're going to be like wondering, who are these characters? But mind you, we've also seen them in cartoons. Some of these characters we've seen in the CW shows, as well as other forms of DC entertainment and in the comics. And this movie really felt like it was drawing from everywhere. Yes, it even had a bit of a CW feel to it, was how soap opera-ish some of the interactions got between the characters. So if you've been a fan of DC and going through, and even if you're not, and you really like Superman like I do, I adore Superman. This is an enjoyable movie and a nice first step into what's to come. Movie's chock full of Easter eggs. It sets up the next movie in the series, and there are a bunch of jokes. And yes, damn it, Crypto is a good boy.
Awesome. Well, I'm
So
glad to hear all of that. I would say if there's anybody out there who goes, darn it, I want DC and I want gritty, and I still want it to be relevant to this story going on, we've got you covered. Go to HBO Max, look up Creature Commandos.
yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening on the stick, if you're on the YouTube, we'll be back with bonus content. This is the Torn Quadcast on WRMN Radio.
Bye.
And if you're sticking around with us here on the YouTube, thanks so much. This is what we call bonus content. And we're no more breaks from here on out. We can just keep going as long as we need to. A little bit more, I did want to make a point about the Superman movie because I had this realization after the end of the movie. Mind you, I saw it at a theater. It was a 3:00 showing at the AMC, not a full house because again it was a 3:00 showing on a Thursday, but a fair amount of people. I would say the theater I was in was like half full. So there was a fair amount of folks. So when there was a joke and everyone laughed, you had you felt the whole theater full of people laughing. At the very end though, when the final credits hit, applause in the theater. We're talking people were pleased with the film. I was very pleased with the film. I'll admit it even got me a little bit emotional. Some things that happened in the movie we can discuss after you've seen it.
Thank you much. I'll say for what it's worth, I missed it up at Deadpool Wolverine.
I will say I can see that too. There are some, but that is probably Hugh Jackman's best performance as Wolverine.
It 100% was.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I would say it is, and it beats out Logan by, a
Okay,
micron.
yeah. Well, I'm saying it's him as Wolverine,
Right. Not Old Man Logan.
not Old
Yes.
Man Logan, right?
Good. A
Um,
good signifier there. But
yeah. The
I was gonna say I'm so excited to see the movie. As I like literally like so many of the fandom. Watch as I tee that up for you. My first sight of Corn Sweat in the suit, I admit I wasn't like, oh man, I'm here for it. It was more like, maybe it looks better in motion. I'm not 100% sure about this guy. I don't know this guy. He's new. I hate new. I don't know. Then the trailer or the teaser or the whatever you want to call it, the first actual here's what he looks like both as Superman and Clark Kent. As soon as he opened his mouth, I'm like, oh, never mind. I'm good. This is great. I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, to me he's as I said, best Superman since Christopher Reeve, because he had to do all that. And mind you, I'm not dismissing there have been other really good Superman too, but I mean, to me, he was able to do the dichotomy between Clark Kent and Superman as well as Christopher Reeve did. Um, and
Yeah.
But then after all the emotion of the movie and all this stuff that's going on, and it ends, and it hit me for a moment. I was like, this felt. I see. I remember in 2016 when everything was so bleak and dark and depressing because of things things that are repeating themselves now, right?
Hmm.
Who did we have in 2016 to lift us up and give us a little bit of a little bit of ray of sunshine? Ted Lasso. Remember,
Yes.
Ted Lasso was like the thing that we all.
Things.
There we go.
Things.
we we rallied around Ted
So,
Lasso to cheer us up. Yeah, there we go.
well,
And
I mean, I could do a whole show on Ted Lasso, but
yeah,
so good,
and I
so
was
good.
and I was like, this. It's what that's what it felt like. This felt like the Ted. This is the Ted Lasso of 2025.
And it's great, even without having seen the movie yet, knowing like this was part of my excitement around it, and a lot of people I feel in my circles agreed, like from the presentation and what James Gunn was saying, and I mean that man went to bat for this movie. Anyone with a microphone, he was there to
Mm-hmm.
hype this thing up, knowing full well that like he has to Kevin Feige his way into making this an industrial complex the same way Marvel did to make his masters happy, but doing so with the thought process of like, hey, we're gonna start appealing to kids again, and not just because it's like, hey man, Spider-Man's cool, come on. But like, no, we're barrel chested. This is Superman. He is going to fight kaiju monsters and other robots, and it's all the things that a child will see and go, yes, more of this please. And to do it hopefully without snark. You know
No, no,
that's
incredibly sincere, and I'll tell you, there. I mean, Superman goes out of it. This is the thing. I remember in previous incarnations of other Superman movies, like in Superman Returns, everyone was like, "Yeah, it's Brandon Routh doing Christopher Reeve." But man, we wanted to see Superman fight. We wanted to see some Superman punch somebody, because all throughout Superman Returns, all he's doing is rescuing people and also getting beat up by Lex Luger. For one thing or another. Um, and then with Man of Steel, it's like emo Superman, and you're not my dad, and all, and I'm sorry, but I'm sure many women are accustomed to hearing this, but it's like, Henry, you gotta smile a little more. I mean, you look so pretty if you'd smile. You
right.
know, hey,
It was
which is funny because Henry Cavill actually has a great smile, and when he would talk about Superman, like on the press, I'm like, why don't we see more of this?
well, it's that it leads all to the Snyderification of the DCU when it first came out, where you had Marvel doing what they did, and Snyder, at that point in the James Gunn role of trying to lead it all, his thought was, in order to zig where they zag, I'm going to grab the blackest marker I can find, and I'm going to write my scripts on black paper, and I'm going to scan them in the dark, and everyone will love it. And I just remember, like, we saw it because I'm such a DC fan. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go see these movies because I still have hope, and I still want to see my favorite characters on the screen. And then you give us like a weirdly on the spectrum Flash. You give us a body horror version of Cyborg. You ignore Green Lantern completely. And then, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious what your thoughts were. Like, I always thought like one of the better things they did was Wonder Woman, but I guess like fan backlash, and I was like, Gal Gadot can't act, and boo hiss, and like I don't know. I remember I looked at my own Facebook notes. I came out of Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 84 saying I enjoyed that.
No, I didn't like 84. 84 was dumb.
I
But
mean,
at
it
the
was
same,
dumb, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, don't tell me Steve Rogers, after flying a World War II plane, can also fly a jet fighter in modern time. It doesn't translate that way.
Hey man,
You
Will
know,
Smith beat
and
the
on
aliens.
top of that, yeah, well, yeah, but on top of that, it's a plane that's been sitting in a museum on a runway for how long, God knows how long, just happened to be fueled up and ready to
I'm
fly.
just glad that they saved all that money on the script by taking Batman and Robin, taking the character of Poison Ivy, and just find replacing with Cheetah.
Yep. Ah, poor Kristen Wiig though. She was so misused.
Well, I mean, no offense to her, I don't think she was the right person cast. I think she did a really good job with what they gave her, but
Yeah,
she's not. That wasn't the right role.
I
But
agree. I agree.
I would have actually preferred her as Doctor Psycho
Oh, that actually would have made a lot of sense. Yeah, yeah,
a little
I get
bit.
that.
But I'm
The
glad now we have hope.
but looking at, and if you look at the cast in Superman, everyone is really well cast. Even freaking Jor-El and Lara, who appear. I won't tell you who they are. All I know is like, wait a minute, oh, that's right. Okay, there are a
Well,
lot
I'm
of
looking.
guardian. There are a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy connections in here, just so you know.
Well, I figured like, hey, it's a James Gunn.
Yeah,
Like I know his brother is in it.
Maxwell Lord.
He
Yeah,
is Maxwell Lord. Okay,
he's
which is
Maxwell
great.
Lord.
Especially fans of a certain vintage actually know and respect that name.
Yeah, and they are setting that up. They are.
Good.
I
Awesome.
can. All I know is I cannot wait for Batman and Guy Gardner to meet.
Sure.
You know, there are fans that are waiting for that. You
Well,
know, they can't wait for
yeah.
that.
So they're clearly celebrating the nerdiness of DC, and like it's a long time coming. I'm very excited for it. I'm glad for everything you said there. So I'm seeing it. When people watch this, I'll be seeing it tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then probably several times over again. I got 4 kids, and at least two and a half of them have told me like, I need to see that one and Fantastic Four.
Oh, Fantastic Four is the next big one too. But
Yeah.
but yes, this one, it is fun. It's different. I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. If you're not a fan of that DC style, I appreciate that. You might like Marvel style too. But the one thing that does get me is that you have all these people, the same people who bitch about the Marvel movies, like being the same formulaic stuff over and over and over again. Why don't they do something different? James Gunn is doing exactly that with Superman, with this movie, and going in a different direction and setting things up differently to make it distinct. And I appreciate it just for that. Plus, and again, pitch perfect Superman. Pitch perfect.
Yeah,
He's
and I know
a big blue Boy Scout. That's what he is. Big blue Boy Scout.
which is what he should be.
Yeah.
Because again, if we talk about the Pantheon, I will further to say once again over in the DC animated universe, their version of Superman, when that cartoon dropped, having watched all that Batman, and you talk about zigging where they zagged, like where Superman was so bright as a show that you could just immediately tell it, and the perfect casting of Tim Daly at that time as the first Superman, and
No,
everything about it.
yeah, Tim Daly as Superman, perfect. Dana Delaney as Lois Lane, perfect.
Oh my God, I'm gonna lose his name, but who they had for Lex Luthor.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown as drawn as Telly Savalas.
Yep, yep. And sometimes dark skinned, sometimes light skinned. You're like,
He
wait,
was
what?
he was very well tanned
He
for a
was
billionaire.
for pretty much.
Uh, yeah, everything about it I enjoyed. The Malcolm McDowell as Metallo.
Yep, yep.
I mean, again, like Superman, for what it's worth, has what I would say a much goofier rogues gallery. Batman's rogue gallery is only comparable, maybe to is the best, and maybe a number two is Spider-Man. Like,
I reverse it. I think Spider Man's is better than Batman's.
it's Spider-Man's are more diverse to a degree. He doesn't have as many cerebral villains, and I'm always a fan. I like thinky villain versus punchy villain.
I get it. Yeah, and right now in the current continuity of Spider Man, his best villain, the Green Goblin, is now his ally. They're like friends
Well,
now.
that
So
always happens, for to a degree, right?
yeah,
But it is what it is. I know. Just to run down, I think we've pretty much talked what we said about Superman. There wasn't much left in the wrestling world to go over, other than saying the one thing I had left out here. For those old school ish fans of AEW, Britt Baker, where has she been? What's going on? Well, she put out a cryptic tweet which sent the whole internet aflutter. She posted some video clip that basically says a bottle of water could be worth $1 in your grocery store, $3 at the gas station, $6 at the airport, and $20 at the Super Bowl, and you're still gonna need the water. And she's trying to say like my value is worth something, maybe not here anymore. Tony Khan got in front of the mics and said, "Hush, everybody. Her contract is going nowhere. She was injured. We have dates." And then he, as Tony Khan is known to do, stuck his foot in his mouth a little bit and gave this big long speech about, hey, we have such a deep bench of talent that sometimes we have these people on the bench that when it's time, we can like activate them and they can like come on and like do a really cool run, and then we put them back on the bench to do again later. I'm like, okay, so you basically just admitted, yeah, I'm not, like I said, I equate Tony Khan, he's a billionaire with action figures, and his
yeah.
Britt Baker action figures got a little layer of dust on it because he's worried about some other female talent.
And he has very poor management and communication skills, as
Yes,
has been evidenced by, again, all the crazy stuff that happens.
and since we're after hours, I can say it. He has the manic power, or the manic prowess of a cocaine riddled Shane McMahon.
When is Shane McMahon not cocaine riddled?
Exactly. Uh, it is what it is, and I'm excited for us to get past All In or whatever, and to see what goes on. I'm still on the fence whether or not I will invest the 50-ish dollars to get a hold of it.
I don't get how any wrestling promotion can still, in any world, think they can still charge that kind of money for a pay per
I
view.
was hopeful. I was hopeful that they would like sneak it on Max, but that ain't happening. And interestingly enough, by the way, I didn't put this in the notes, but I did want to point this out for those who are following. WWE purposefully counter-programmed all weekend long against AEW. Because All In happens in the afternoon, they scheduled Saturday Night Main Event. They, in fact, moved it up so that they could be the last thing on wrestling fans' minds Saturday night. They also moved the female only Evolution
Hmm.
pay per view to this weekend in Texas, trying to grab audience members. They also had some kind of NXT show that is counter-programmed against Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor.
Wait, I
It's
thought Saturday night's main event was this weekend.
as is AEW's All In.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. Saturday night's main event is this weekend, and
They
yeah.
jammed 3 events to try
You.
to get in the way of AEW.
I
Here's
get you.
the weird rub. AEW's pay-per-view sold more than all of WWE's events combined.
Meaning, but tickets or
Tickets.
pay-per-views, right?
Tickets, not even counting pay-per-views and such.
All right. I mean,
Because Saturday, yeah.
What events are we talking about? Are we talking about house shows or Raws?
We're talking about the 3 counter-programmed events. We're talking about Saturday night main event, the Evolution pay-per-view, and whatever the NXT thing is.
Okay.
So somebody pointed out, basically, like, you guys went in here to counter-program, but all you ended up doing is bolstering AEW's point. Like, this again is like, can't we all get along? Like, you're picking a fight for no reason.
Yeah, at the same time, it's not the house, the in the butt seats isn't what matters. It's who's watching it on television.
I mean, it's so complicated.
It's a tree falls in the woods. Okay, if your tree is falling in the woods, but I've got a bigger tree over here and I'm knocking it over, does it matter if your tree makes a sound?
I'd like to say, like, let's keep the whole fast food thing going. Like, it would be the equivalent that when Burger King puts out spicy chicken tenders or something, McDonald's feels the need to put them out too at the same time. Like, no, we can do it. You know, it's like, okay, we understand, guys. Like,
and then Taco Bell comes in and does one that's better than both of them.
Seriously. Keep an eye out, Trash Panda, for the Taco Dia.
Calling you out, Trash Panda. We're gonna have Taco Dias. I mean, Chicken Dias, and with super hot ghost pepper sauce.
I'd say if we could convince him soon, before it goes away, Wendy's right now is doing about the trash pandiest thing I've ever seen with this stupid Taki chicken sandwich.
Takis, yeah, I haven't tried that one yet. I need to do that. I need to do my own Trash Panda fast food review.
There's not enough Pepto-Bismol in the world to make me want to try that.
Although it would be cool to go in a drive-through with Trash Panda
yeah,
and we'd both order the Takis chicken, and we'd both do our reviews. You know, that would be.
I would love to see him do that with the mask. Yes, just
do it with the mask. No,
little snippets, just kind of
going in.
The mouth hole is big enough to hold a Taki, so
I'll break little pieces off and I'll feed it to him.
Feed it to him.
There's a little mask.
That works. By the way, shout out to the unsung heroes in fast food. This today I took my son, my 13-year-old, to A&W Long John Silver's.
Are they still around? The Long John Silver's might be closed. Yeah, there was one on Irving Park Road, not far from me. It was there forever, and it finally closed.
Well, we have an A&W combo A&W Long John Silver's in Matson, Illinois, and I was coming up from University of Illinois, so we got out on Route 30, and it was right there, and I told my kid, I said, hey, I'm just telling you now, trying to speak the lingo. I'm like, the chicken tenders at Long John Silver's are goated, and he was like, it's a fish place, and I'm like, just trust me, and he ordered the little platter thing. Not knowing that, it's Long John Silver's, buddy. They give you those Crispies.
Yeah.
And it's a combined with A&W, you can sub your side. So he got onion rings instead of whatever they had. I'm telling you, the little basket of brown food that they delivered this kid, I've never seen him happier in 13 years.
Wait, is it still that nice little tempura batter that they do?
Yes.
That's the one thing that was great about it. It was like tempura batter.
Everyone always I remember growing up, Long John Silver's got no love from anybody, and then I tried it whenever, and I'm like, this is actually genuinely pretty good stuff. I'm not rushing to it, but every now and again.
Yeah, I stopped eating Long John Silver's after I went to one and got food poisoning.
That'll do it.
And I should have known better, because before I ordered my food, there was this woman at the counter complaining to the woman saying that her food tasted funny. She goes, it smells like perfume. And they're going, and it's fish. And like an idiot, I still ordered.
You're like, fish, please. I'll have
Yeah.
what she's having.
Yeah, right. And then yes, and I got the worst case of food poisoning afterwards. Never went back to his Long John Silver's after that.
You know, I think everyone has a story about that with some fast food, whatever. Like I'll say, I think I got decimated by Sonic.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh, very easily. But
Yeah.
shout out, I've never had food poisoning from Checkers rallies. So
It's been a million years since I've been to a Checkers rallies. It's been a million years.
I'm still trying to figure out why they need both names. But
And again, I used to have one right by the house, and I never went there, and then it closed. Just like I used to have a White Castle right here, and a Krispy Kreme right by the house. And
I'll never get on either of those boards. I used to. It's funny when Krispy Kreme debuted in the Chicagoland area by us. It was when I was in high school. Myself, Unshaven Matt, Unshaven Kyle, and our other friend Missy, we booked it to Oak Lawn to get a Krispy Kreme, and we were in love with it. Like, it was amazing. The whole experience. We ate in there, and they gave you a free one in line because the line was so long. Because again, suburbanites have nothing better to do, and I just remember like going back the second time and being like, oh. Yeah, no, I don't think I like this at all. Like it's fine, but I'll take Dunkin' over Krispy Kreme every day.
I like how it's Unshaven Matt, Unshaven Kyle, and Misty. It's like, not like shaven Misty or unshaven Misty. It's just Misty.
Just Missy, and yeah, if in the off chance Missy you're watching this, please answer my texts.
Ain't not gonna happen now.
No. There's a lot of lore there, kids. Don't go there. But
I get it.
It is what it is. I said I could do throwback, but we shouldn't do too much of that. There's a great podcast I'll even shout out if you like stuff like that. Look for the I'm Fat podcast as put out by Jay Zawoski and Ray Camp.
Ray Camp.
Yeah.
I was promised a guest spot on there a million years ago. Hasn't happened yet.
Here's the trick. They don't have guests.
I know. Because
I was promised the same thing because I'm their graphic designer. And I'm like, can I come on one year and talk about the stuff? They're like, absolutely there, buddy. Don't worry about it.
No. I think it was even Rick. Rick was like and I know Jay. Jay knows me, and it's not like the guys don't know me. They know you. They know us.
Jay lives down the street from me.
You know what we're gonna do?
We're gonna have him on.
No. What we're gonna do? We should propose a switch. Like we'll do I'm Fat, and then they'll do the Torn Quadcast one time. We'll do like a switch.
Given that I think neither of them watch wrestling, I think it's a great idea.
But they can talk about everything. But I mean, again, they can talk about pop culture. They can talk about food. They can talk about sports. Again, it's sports entertainment. Sports.
They could backfill. What are we on, episode like 20? They could backfill all our episodes worth of sports. Talk about the sports ball, kids.
Yeah. By the way, we said at the top of the hour about the NFL having too much content and they're dominating your week. Unless you're listening to the Chicago Bears here on WRMN Radio. We're going to fill your days with the Bears right here.
Oh, rest assured, I'm not complaining. I am Bears 7 days a week.
All right. Well, hey, that's another one in the books. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, for being here with us on the YouTube page. Hope you enjoyed this bonus content. Again, go see Superman. Don't listen to the haters. The baloney that they say on Fox News that it's woke and it's all about immigrants. They say the word immigrants 0 times. They say the word illegal immigrants 0 times. They say the word immigration 0 times. Do they say illegally alien? No. They do say alien, and that's because Lex Luthor is talking about Superman from Krypton. But no...
You promised no spoilers.
Oh, sorry about that. and let's just say it's a fun movie. Don't go in expecting it to change your life or cure you of some disease. It's just a nice diversion for 2 hours, and to help give you something a little nice, a little bit of hope, and a little bit of kindness in a otherwise bleak world.
Yes.
For Mark Allen Fishman, I'm Elliott Serrano. This has been the Torn Quadcast here on WRMN Radio and the WRMN YouTube page. We'll see you again next week. Good night, everyone.